Acoustics is extremely important to schools because schools ultimately are about teaching pupils, about imparting knowledge and life skills to them, and most of that is done verbally from a teacher to a pupil. If you have poor speech intelligibility, if you weren't, for instance, able to understand me now, it would be pointless having this video clip. You wouldn't get any information from me, and it's the same for a pupil. If they can't hear or understand a teacher properly, we call that good speech intelligibility, then it sort of defeats the object. So having a good acoustic environment within a school, within a classroom, is essential for teaching. And that's not as easy as you might think. You have to tune the room, and that's something that we can help with. But because it's what we call an invisible design element, it's not a lot of fun for an interior designer. You can't see anything as a result. It sometimes gets pushed down the list of priorities, and my job in being here really is to show how important it is and to bring it up the list and make people aware that when they're creating or designing a school or teaching environment, that it's an essential factor to take into account. A good example of a local authority who have taken the time to research this subject and the benefits of it would be Essex County Council, who sponsored research along with the NDCS, the National Deaf Children's Society, into whether there would be a benefit in correctly meeting standards and acoustically treating classrooms to BATOD standards. That is the profession for the teachers of the deaf. They produced some interesting research. They employed a man called David Canning, who's a well-known audiologist, to carry out that research. And the findings were very, very interesting. What they found was that not only were hearing impaired children greatly benefited by the correct acoustic environment, but also the hearing pupils that happened to use those classrooms as part of a rotation within the school greatly benefited. The teachers reported that it was benefited and the pupils benefited. So behaviour improved, academic abilities and the swiftness have improved. And we also know from other university studies that the ability to focus and to memorise is greatly enhanced when the acoustic environment is optimum.
We started in a situation where we had children coming into a new school which didn't have appropriate acoustics for the child's environment. We started by putting a small amount of acoustic treatment in the school while we had the opportunity to negotiate with acousticians to design the right environment for the school. What we did discover was we were having a number of children who were being referred to the authority who were having to go out of county because we didn't have appropriate environments for the children to be taught, which was costing the authority a lot of money. We also had a number of children where we lost tribunals, which again was expensive both in costs and time. So what we decided to do was to employ a consultant to identify what we were doing and how we were doing it. And what we did was we employed David Canning, who was actually the person that was against us initially in the tribunals. We thought the best thing to do was use him to identify what we were doing. For other local authorities, what we would suggest is to follow a similar example to ourselves. They can use our research that we've already undertaken. They're quite willing to use that. We have that published nationally, so it's freely available, and follow the medium standard, which I think is probably we think is the best standard to go for in terms of cost effectiveness. We are only too pleased for other authorities to contact us, and we can make arrangements for them to come and see for themselves what the effects or how effective the three different standards are within the environment, and see a real living example of the benefits.